Anyone is the debut studio album of South Korean girl group 2NE1. The album was released on September 9, 2010, by YG Entertainment and CJE&M Music. 2NE1 worked with YG Entertainment CEO Yang Hyun-suk, Teddy, and e.knock to produce the album. Musically, the album is classified as pop, with elements of R&B, dance, and hip-hop. The album received mostly mixed reception. While the album was praised for its top production quality, complaints were often made about the overuse of either vocoders or the auto-tune software. 2NE1 debuted at number 1 on the weekly Gaon Albums Chart, and gained the number 1 on the monthly chart. In total, the album has sold over 150,000 copies. 9 singles in total have been released or promoted from the album. The reggae remix of I Don't Care was the first single. Member Dara's solo song Kiss was released next, with Bomb's solo You and I following. CL and youngest member Minzy released their duet Please Don't Go as the fourth single. The group reunited for Try to Follow Me, and earned the top spot on the Gaon chart. Clap Your Hands, Go Away, and Can't Nobody were all released on September 9, 2010, as lead singles, and were followed by It Hurts. Development and background: in August 2010, YG Entertainment CEO Yang Hyun-suk announced that 2NE1 will promote 3 title tracks for their first full-length album. Each promotional single would have a music video to accompany it. They were later announced as Clap Your Hands, Go Away, and Can't Nobody. Clap Your Hands was written and composed by producer e.knock, whereas Go Away and Can't Nobody were created by Teddy Park. 2 days before the release of the album, the pre-orders for the album had reached 120,000 copies. By the end of September, the album had sold 100,000 copies. On October 28, it was announced that the group would be re-releasing the album in Japan on December 8, 2010 under Japanese record label Avex. The release of 2NE1 in Japan would mark the group's debut there. However, it was later announced that the album's release was delayed as both YG Entertainment and Avex wanted to develop the album further. The album was also announced to be sold in Thailand on October 28. YG Entertainment also announced a partnership with Universal Records to release the album in the Philippines. Music and lyrics: 2NE1 is classified largely as pop, but contains strong elements of dance and R&B. Lyrically, the album is about female independence. Go Away is about telling a man to go away during a breakup. Critical reception: 2NE1 received positive to mixed reviews from critics. KBS World praised the album, stating the album showed that YG Entertainment was still one of the top companies in music production quality. They also stated that the album showed off a more grown-up image, and that songs like It Hurts showed off the vocal talent they possess. However, complaints were often made about auto-tune and vocoders. Regardless, 2NE1 was a commercial success in Korea, launching the group to become one of the most popular girl groups in South Korea. Chart performance: 2NE1 debuted at number 1 on September 11, 2010. Additionally, the album charted at number 1 for the month of September to November. In the United States, the album peaked at number 7 on the Billboard World Albums Chart. In total, the album sold 122,845 copies by the end of 2010. Go Away, on its own, sold 2,444,933 digital downloads, and Can't Nobody had similar numbers at 2,327,146 downloads. Clap Your Hands was downloaded 1,841,485 times, and It Hurts sold 1,703,377 copies. Try to Follow Me was the last song from the album to be downloaded over 1 million times, enjoying an early February release on its own as a digital single, at 1,770,787 downloads. Love Is Ouch, and I'm Busy, neither promoted or released as a single, were downloaded 903,293 and 902,101 times respectively. Click on the e.knock button to get download sales figures in 2011. The singles from 2NE1 reached over 6,000,000 downloads, For example, Go Away incremented its downloads from 2.5 million to 4 million in that year, also Can't Nobody, Clap Your Hands, Try to Follow Me, and It Hurts incremented their total of copies sold. Singles: I Don't Care was remixed and retitled I Don't Care, and became the first single from the album. It was first performed on the September 1, 2009 showing of The Music Trend. It was released on September 3, and peaked at number 26 on the monthly BGM chart. Kiss was a solo song for Dara featuring CL, and served as the next single. It was released on September 7, and peaked at number 5. Kiss was followed by Bomb's solo song You and I, released on October 28, 2009. The song reached number 1 for November. Please Don't Go, a duet between leader CL and youngest member Minzy, was the last single of 2009 released for the album. The song, released November 20, peaked at number 6. Try to Follow Me was a surprise release by the group on February 9, 2010. It peaked at number 1 on February 13, 2010. The group went under the radar until September 9, when they released their album along with the triple promotional singles. Clap Your Hands peaked at number 3 in South Korea and was the first track to have a music video, which was released the same day. The song was praised for having top production quality and being aggressive. Go Away and Can't Nobody were the other two of the simultaneous track releases. They were both praised and had received positive responses overall. However, all three songs were criticized for use of auto-tune. Go Away peaked at number 1 in South Korea, while Can't Nobody and Clap Your Hands topped at the second and third positions. It Hurts was the last promoted single from the album, and peaked at number 4 upon album's release. It was praised as one of the bright spots of the album that focused on the group's vocal talents. Can't Nobody was released as a ringtone in Japan to start their initial debut there but was delayed until November, due to the March earthquake. Go Away was selected to be the first official single, with a release on March 9, 2011. Promotion, music videos for Clap Your Hands and Go Away were released on September 9 and 10, respectively. It Hurts was promoted after the initial 3 songs, with its music video releasing on November 1. The first stage performances for the album were on SBS's September 12 episode of The Music Trend. They performed their 3 title tracks, Clap Your Hands, Go Away, and Can't Nobody. The performances were recorded early in the day so they could perform at the Hello Dream concert in Gyeongju later in the evening. They won first place on Note M Countdown for Clap Your Hands on the day of their performances, followed by first place win the next day on KBS Music Bank for Can't Nobody, and a first place win the following week on SBS The Music Trend for Can't Nobody. Overall, 2NE1 had gained first place 11 times on the various music shows. After the group finished performing the 3 main singles of the album, YG Entertainment announced that 2NE1 will be resuming promotions with the album performing It Hurts on music programs. The group began their first promotions with the song on SBS's Inkageo during Halloween, October 31, 2010. The music video for the song was released on November 1, 2010 to accompany with the group's follow-up promotions. Track listing. Personnel. Charts and certifications. Weekly charts monthly charts yearly charts chart procession Release history. Awards. References. External links. Official website.